Hey guys, what's up? FLEX-TANGO here to talk about Black Ops Cold War. Just a few more days until its release, and I want to talk about something that's been on all of our minds since the beta. Just one last video before the game's release, making the case against skill-based matchmaking, but making the case for the community at the same time. One last attempt at explaining the realistic issues and future outcome of skill-based matchmaking versus a possibly sensible alternative that we could all get behind or maybe agree on. Please, if you work at TREYARCH or at ACTIVISION, watch this video, hear out what feedback this video has to offer, please. You guys have put a lot of hard work, a lot of cool things into Black Ops Cold War. Day 1 of the alpha was a dream. Day 2, it felt like skill-based matchmaking was turned way up. I still had some fun, but by the end of the night, it was pretty repetitive and boring, gonna be honest. And I gotta say, the level of skill-based matchmaking we all felt first weekend of the beta had us worried, especially in Day 1. I know a few people at this moment who had canceled their pre-order after Day 1 of the first beta and still haven't pre-ordered the game and probably aren't going to because of how high the skill-based matchmaking was Day 1 of the first beta weekend. There were certain hours of the following days, though, where it didn't feel so high. It was nice, and I had very eclectic lobbies, but there were times skill-based matchmaking felt like it was turned way up, and it just ruined the experience. But the weekend of beta number 2 was actually great from what I heard. I only got to play the last day, and I played with my wife, who was very new to Call of Duty, so I can't say whether or not skill-based matchmaking was turned up or not, but I will say we had lobbies where we got our asses kicked, and lobbies that went really buttery smooth, and lobbies with very eclectic players, and what I experienced was nice. Again, I just can't say for sure that was because of the general matchmaking, because I was playing my wife. But even when I stopped playing my wife, and I played with a friend of mine who is better skilled than my wife, our lobbies were still pretty eclectic. And the only reason I popped on the last day or so of the second beta was because I saw so many people on Twitter and people messaging me that skill-based matchmaking had been turned down, and they were having diverse interactions and lobbies with different types of play styles and different types of metas, and it wasn't a bunch of boring clone lobby bullshit, and they were enjoying it. After what we had experienced prior, though, it was kind of hard for me to believe, so I popped on to see for myself. Well, regardless, we know skill-based matchmaking is still probably going to be in there to an extent, maybe a little greater than people would like, and I know the reason you guys are not going to get rid of it is because you feel strongly that it is retaining players in general across the board much better, especially the flakes and the noobs, who many of which you know don't even really care about Call of Duty and would easily quit playing COD the moment they went up against an eclectic lobby of players with various skill levels. So you protect them because you want this game to be played by everybody, including people who are only playing the game right now because it's popular, because you're going to make money from them regardless. And the fans who have been playing this game for a long time, who are above average with their skill level, who feel they are being punished by skill-based matchmaking and are complaining about it, they don't necessarily make up the majority of players, so you don't really give a shit, and it's not pushing enough of them away from playing the game for you to actually give a shit, and I get that. It makes total sense. And I know that there is a margin of players that needs to be protected because they are so brand new to the game, or they're possibly handicapped. Most of us agree there is a bracket that no shit needs that protection. But the days of not having to worry about the upper 20% or so of players and being able to just ignore them is coming to a close end. One of the things that drove players in Call of Duty in the Golden to Silver Age was grinding to be better and improve your KD. That's why in Black Ops 2 you gave the option to reset all of your stats, because there were new players who had horrible stats their first prestige, but did the grind and got better at the game and wanted that to show in their stats. So they were willing to reset everything to show how well they had improved. The level of skill-based matchmaking in the last year of Call of Duty has completely changed the mindset of most people in the community, where they no longer give a shit about their kill-to-death ratio, because they know no matter what, it's not an accurate KDR when compared to the average. Your kill-to-death ratio in older Call of Duties was an honest kill-to-death ratio, because every lobby you were put up against an eclectic team of various skill levels to where at the end of the day, at the end of the month, at the end of the year, whatever your KD was, it was your honest kill-to-death ratio compared to the average of the community across the board. But now that we're being put in clone lobbies, we all know the KD that is in Modern Warfare doesn't mean shit. And now that COD has completely changed one of the deepest and strongest core values and motivations within the COD community since the beginning of Call of Duty, you have successfully voided the greatest tool you as a developer has for stability and control and predictability of the player base. Now players feel they really have nothing to lose and will gladly do things like dun 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 reverse boosting. Reverse boosting became one of the fastest growing trends in the Call of Duty community week 1 of the beta, because nobody gives a shit about their KD anymore. Nobody gives a shit because of a matchmaking algorithm put in to protect the weak and new players that are now getting destroyed by the very people you were trying to protect them from, because those individuals are now reverse boosting because they care not about their KD. And you really can't stop it. There are so many players doing it and willing to do it, and more to come. And you can try to make somebody invincible for 5 seconds when they spawn, but they're still just gonna wait 5 seconds and kill themselves and still have 55 deaths by the end of the game. And even if you somehow make it to where those deaths don't really count because of constant committing suicide and all that stuff, they will still just run into battle and let people kill them over and over again to reverse boost. Your greatest defense against reverse boosting is players holding their KD dear to their heart and constantly trying to protect and improve it. But when you take that away by making their KTD meaningless, this is the outcome. This is the future. It's not just some of the lower tier players who are going to be hurt. The lowest tier players are the ones getting hurt by the skilled players. The players we can all agree should be protected are going to suffer and possibly quit. When you have players who have been playing Call of Duty for over a decade, staying committed and putting in countless hours of frustration in order to grind and become better at the game, and then you punish those players or make them feel punished for being as good as they are in order to appease the noobs and the flakes, many of which don't even give a shit about Call of Duty. Those dedicated fans will do whatever it takes to ruin what you have created. And they're not going to use hacks. They don't have to use hacks. You know, some might. But for the most part, they would just use your own game against you. Please use a matchmaking that leans more towards ping-based connection while implementing lobby balancing. That is all we really want. Week 1, the harder I pushed when I played, the smaller a match pool I got drawn up in, which heavily increased my ping, and it became an increasingly more laggy experience as the night went on, especially on day 1 of the beta. While I saw new players or less skilled players talking about how everything was buttery smooth, they didn't experience any lag at all. You know, it was never choppy. And good for them, I hold nothing against them for that. There are players who are content without wanting to increase their skill level, and that is totally fine. All we want is just more eclectic lobbies with various skill levels in there, and then let the teams be balanced out from there. It will create balance while also making kill to death ratio mean something again and reduce ping related issues. I want to be able to get my ass whipped one match and the next match go ham crazy, or every match be a completely different and unique experience because of all the different play styles and because of all the different skill levels and the different metas. Because without that, you really don't run into any unique or surprising firefights. There's nothing memorable. I would much rather have all that than to play good my first 5 matches of the night, only for every match after that ending with everybody scoring between 1 or 2 kills from one another, and everybody in the lobby complaining about skill-based matchmaking and nobody really feeling like they are getting rewarded for playing better. Every night being the same, where you do good your first few matches, and then every match after that feels like a bunch of soccer players kicking the soccer ball at the same damn time, and it ain't moving nowhere. Now, this is just one of the fixable issues with the beta. I could get into the balancing issues and all that stuff later, but to me, those are minor issues compared to the matchmaking. I am excited for this game. The last beta matchmaking experience was super promising, and I tried really hard to play the first night of the first beta because I wanted it to feel like the first night of the alpha, but I literally put down my controller and did the dishes instead. I personally don't want that. I want a game that has me so sucked in my wife is yelling at me to do the dishes. Anyways, I hope that was civil enough. I hope I explained our case good enough. I don't say these things to shit on Call of Duty or Treyarch. I say these things because I've been a fan for well over a decade, and I do care deeply about Call of Duty and the unique experience it used to offer that I feel is now slowly but surely being replaced by a perpetually malleable set of games lacking foundational integrity that, unintentional as it may be, is certainly reducing the notable interactive variety in one's gameplay experience, regardless of the variety of skins and weapons you add to each game. I hope this feedback was useful. Please don't let any of this negative feedback from all these fans get any of you guys down. Please be forgiving for those fans that complain in the most extreme of ways. Many of them are just upset that we went through an entire year of devs promising transparency and to listen and respond to feedback only for one of the most constantly brought up issues, let alone any fan to bring up said issue, getting completely ignored. And now they fear this upcoming year may be no different. I really hope you guys can understand that. Thanks for watching. That's all I've got for now. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Comment down below. Keep the conversation going, and I will catch you guys next time.